Lately, my mum's been super cold in her WeChat replies. She used to call me my precious baby. I had to act cute and clingy for quite a while before she finally went back to calling me her precious baby again. A month later, she suddenly added me as a friend. Sweetie, why did you delete Mommy? I stared at the contact with the same golden lotus profile pic as my mum's, deep in thought. If this was my real mum, then who had I been acting all cutesy with? The next day, the aloof top student was waiting outside my dorm holding a tiny cake. Hi there, my precious baby. I'm a textbook mama's girl. I tell my mum about every little thing in my life. Today, I had this amazing egg tart, and I took a selfie with it next to my face. This tart is so good. The reply came instantly. Jennifer? I immediately felt wronged. It's only been 2 days since I messaged you, and you're already acting like this. You actually called me by my full name. Say it. Say baby. No, say precious baby. 3 minutes of silence. You sure about this? You're really asking me that, given what we have? Another 3 minutes of silence. Precious baby. I sent her a sticker of a cat wiggling its butt. That's more like it. From below my bunk, my roommate yelled, Jennifer, come down and tell me if my new dress looks good. I pulled back the curtain and saw my roommate Julia spinning in front of the mirror in a pink camisole dress. I've definitely gained weight. It used to fit me perfectly in medium. Jennifer, you're slimmer. Want to try it on? If it fits you, I won't bother returning it. I rolled off my bed. Yes, Your Majesty. But if it fits me, are you giving it to me? Julia rolled her eyes. Dream on, you're paying. I tried on the dress, it fit perfectly. The color, the size, everything. It might as well have been custom made for me. I threw Julia a flirty look. Admit it, you're secretly into me. She didn't even look up. Just held out 2 fingers. 200. I checked my WeChat balance, still had 800 left, but we were only halfway through the month. So I snapped a mirror pic in the dress and sent it to my mum. When in doubt, ask Mum. I added a voice message. Mummy, doesn't my new dress look amazing? She replied instantly. It looks great. Really suits you. I sent another voice note, this time in a cutesy tone. But I'm kinda low on funds. Can I borrow 200 in advance? And then she just straight up sent me 2,000. I nearly jumped out of my skin. Did you just give me next month's allowance in advance? Nope, that's just for the dress. I let out a literal chicken cluck in the dorm. Mommy, I love you like a mouse loves rice. I kissed my phone screen and waved the balance at Julia. See? I'm loaded now. Wrap it up. Julia gave a mock eunuch bow. Yes, my lady, right away. Before bed, I sent Mom a goodnight message. She replied, good night. I followed up with a meme of a girl saying, wrong. It's supposed to be good night, precious baby. Okay, good night. Precious baby. Just as I was dozing off, my phone buzzed again. Do I need to call you precious baby every day from now on? I was half asleep. Duh. You're my mum. But I was so tired I never finished typing the rest. The next morning for our 8 a.m. class, all 4 of us woke up late. I ran out wearing mismatched shoes and crashed headfirst into a guy from the dorm across the way. I looked up and boom, it was Luke, the hottest guy in our department. Luke's got the grades, the looks, and the background, but he kind of hates me. We're in the same student committee, and just 2 days ago when I added him on WeChat, his first words were, "What kind of nonsense are you up to now?" He even called me ridiculous. My roommates all said, he already looks cold and distant, but who knew he'd be that blunt too? I was going to confess right then, but the tone of his voice made me swallow it back. I can't let myself look pathetic. I smacked that delete button real quick. But today, the way Luke looked at me was different. His gaze was deep and intense, like a flash of something complicated against the soft morning light. I got flustered, being stared at like that. My roommate called out from ahead. Jennifer, come on. We're really gonna be late. He must have been mocking my mismatched shoes. It was all Gen Ed classes this morning anyway. I was bored in class, so I bugged my mum again. Miss me? I hit send. Of course I do. I sent a pouty sticker. What else did you forget to say? Miss my baby. Weird. Mom never needed reminders before. She used to shower me with baby every day. Maybe now that I'm in college, she doesn't love me as much anymore. I had to win her back. I'd always told her we should go to the hot springs resort, but never found the time. Now that summer break was coming up, I messaged, once break starts, let's go to the hot springs. I already picked out my swimsuit. I sent her a picture of the pink, high-cut, backless swimsuit. Pretty good taste, huh? She suddenly stopped replying, but she used to love dramatic swimsuits like this. Luke, who sat in front of me, suddenly stiffened and turned his head. He gave me this weird look, and was that him biting his lip? Totally unlike his usual Ice Prince demeanor. Dude, are you okay? I mean, I only wore mismatched shoes. No need to stare so hard. Or maybe he was still bitter that I deleted him. Just as I was spiraling, Mom finally replied, sounds great. Then it's a date. After class, Luke's seatmate suddenly gasped, dude, your ears are bright red. Are you sick or something? Later, I had lunch with my roommates at the cafeteria and snapped a pic of my braised chicken for Mom. Smells so good. If only I had a bubble tea from Yiddy and Diane after this. Mom didn't reply, probably having lunch with Dad and didn't see the message. We were all quietly eating when suddenly a bubble tea dropped right in front of me. I looked up along the straw. Luke stood there in a black hoodie and sports headphones, looking down at me. His ears were still red. Here. He dropped the words and walked off. The four of us were totally stunned. Julia said, he probably felt bad for snapping at you before. And after you deleted him, it must have eaten at him a little. I ripped open the bag, stabbed the straw in hard, and took a big slurp of the boba. Just because he's apologizing and bought exactly the milk tea I was craving doesn't mean I'll forgive him that easily. I messaged my mom. Say someone was really rude to me before, but now they're trying to make up for it. Should I forgive him? Then I added, he's super hot and has a great body. Mom replied instantly, absolutely not. And what's his name? I'll go chop him up. Yikes, someone's in a mood today. I quickly tried to calm her down. It's really not a big deal. Don't be mad. My mom's been acting weirder and weirder lately. I used to send her random stuff all the time, and she'd only reply to a few, being busy and all. But these days, it's like she's got nothing else to do. She replies to every single thing, even punctuation marks, and always asks if something's wrong. 2 weeks later, Julia told us she was dating someone, and the guy turned out to be one of Luke's close buddies. The three of us instantly crowded around her, eager for the tea. Julia blushed. We've actually known each other for a while, just never talked much. He used to do everything with Luke, but my boyfriend says lately it seems like Luke's got a crush. What? We all squealed like prairie dogs. Julia went on. He said Luke's been chatting with this girl non-stop and even saved her contact name as Precious Baby. Now Luke's got no one to play badminton with, so my guy became his partner. We hung out more, got closer, you know how it goes. My other two roommates suddenly looked at me with pity. It's okay, Jennifer. You're gorgeous. If Luke doesn't appreciate that, someone else will. That was meant to be comforting, but I still felt sour inside. So Luke wasn't actually cold, just cold to me. I crawled into bed and pulled the blanket over my head. The next afternoon, there was a group event for Luke's department and mine. I didn't dare look at him the whole time, just kept my head down. But Luke kept glancing in my direction. What was that? A pity stare? His buddy, Benjamin, wouldn't shut up next to him. Oh ho, our forever single stone finally bloomed, even named her Precious Baby in his contacts. When you two make it official, you better tell me. So annoying. No idea how Julia ever fell for him. After the event, I messaged my mom. I just got dumped. Kinda feel like crying. Mom replied, Huh? You have another baby besides me? What the heck? Is she going through menopause or something? This baby's not that baby. You don't get me at all. I fired back and then didn't reply anymore. I didn't talk to her for 3 days straight. I figured there was a generational gap. She just couldn't understand the heartbreak of a teenage girl in love. By the end of the month, she still hadn't sent my living allowance. I panicked. Starving, hungry, broke. I sent a sticker of a baby shark holding a bowl, begging for food. Out of money already? Truth was, I still had most of the 2.0 she gave me for that dress. But she said that wasn't allowance money, so it didn't count. I sent another sticker, a crying cat. Please, generous Lord, spare me a meal. Without a word, she transferred 10,000. My hand trembled. I didn't dare accept it at first. Did we win the lottery? No. You said you were heartbroken. Go buy yourself something nice. I'm sorry. I was such a brat earlier. It's okay. We don't need to be so formal. Yep. Mothers and daughters don't hold grudges overnight. I accepted the money in a flash, ordered BBQ, seafood and spicy crawfish. Sure, I was still reeling from the breakup, but all I could focus on now was the rich, mouth-numbing flavor. No room left in my brain for heartache. A week later, my roommate forwarded a confession wall post. Someone had snapped a pic of Luke playing basketball on the field. A girl posted it, saying, Anyone know this hottie? Just want to see if he's got a girlfriend. Luke replied in the comments, I like someone, but I haven't won her over yet. His comment racked up over 100 replies. There's actually someone even our campus heartthrob Luke can't get. Respect. Typical guys always fall for the ones who don't like them back. I think it's 'cause he's always been chased. He probably doesn't know how to do the chasing. I nudged Julia. Does your boyfriend know who Luke's crush is? He doesn't know for sure, but he said Luke sent this girl 10K in pocket money last week just to help her get over a breakup. Holy crap. Julia looked pained. Even I feel bad for Luke now. Honestly, I was shocked too. Mr. Icy, Mr. Untouchable out here being someone's simp? A few days later, someone with the same profile pic as my mum added me on WeChat. Sweetie, why did you delete Mummy? I figured they added the wrong person acting all weird. Until my actual mum called. Sweetie, I was in Japan all last month. Didn't really have time to chat. But still, you didn't have to delete me. My fingers froze on my phone. I quickly opened WeChat. Oh. 2 identical profile pics, both blooming golden lotus flowers. I'd never saved Mum's contact under a special name, and she's always changing her nickname and status. But this golden lotus pic? That never changed. She said it brought good fortune, so I'd always recognized her by that. But the one who'd been texting me daily, sharing cute banter, even sending me money, who the hell was that? The only person I'd added and quickly deleted in the past month was Luke. I'd done it so fast, I didn't even catch what his profile pic looked like. A nagging suspicion crept into my heart, but I wasn't sure. I had Julia pull her boyfriend in for a cross-check. Nickname? Check. Profile pic? Check. Transfer times? Check. No. No way. This had to be a dream. I nervously typed out a few words. Are you Luke? The reply came instantly. Yup, baby. Julia, her boyfriend Benjamin, and I were all sitting there like we needed emergency heart meds. So, Luke's crush was me? No. This had gone way too far. Sure, I'm a hardcore sci fan, but I'm not about to take advantage of someone. I had to be clear with him. Luke, I thought you were my mum this whole time. You both had the same profile pic. I'm really sorry, it was all just a misunderstanding. I sent back the 12K he'd given me, but he didn't accept it. So, you calling me baby was just a misunderstanding too? Yes. And all the daily updates you sent for the past month? Yes. Please stop asking. I'm dying of embarrassment here. Jennifer, did you ever like me? Even a little? Crap. He's clearly mad now. Jennifer, say something. What am I supposed to say? And the more I think about all those cringy messages I sent Luke, the more I want to punch myself in the face. Might as well cut it off clean. He's got tons of girls chasing after him. He'll forget all about this in a few days. I shut off my phone and blocked Luke. Yeah, he just needs to cool down. Julia pulled out a tissue and wiped the sweat off my forehead, then turned to Benjamin. Based on what you know about Luke, he'll probably let this go in a few days, right? He doesn't seem like the petty type. Benjamin shook his head like a spinning top. With Luke, either he doesn't care at all, or he's all in. And once he's in, not even 3 mules can drag him back. I mumbled. What about 4? I couldn't concentrate the entire afternoon. Of course, it had to be a gen ed class, and of course, I ran into Luke again. I hid behind Julia as Luke and Benjamin walked toward us. I chanted silently, "You don't see me, you don't see me." But Luke's voice landed squarely on my head. "Baby, did you have fun playing me?" He was wearing a black trench coat today, giving off major intimidation vibes. Next to him, I felt like a scrawny chick. It was all a misunderstanding. You're not really that petty, right? People in the department always say you're super gentle. Sure, you don't talk much, but you're warm-hearted. You're not bubbly, but you're kind. Class was starting in 5 minutes, and the lecture hall was packed, not just our class, but other ones too. Luke suddenly leaned down, his breath just inches from my ear. "Baby, do you know how many messages I sent you yesterday?" "Unblock me," I muttered. "Just call me by my name. Baby is too much." Luke's voice went cold as ice. "Weren't you the one who told me to call you precious baby? You're backing out now. Too late." "I already said it was a misunderstanding." But Luke's tone suddenly softened. He staggered a little, almost leaning on my shoulder. "So why don't we just roll with the mistake?" The bell rang for class, but my heart felt like a frosted cake that had just been smashed by a dog's paw. I unblocked Luke. The lecture was on sociology. The professor posed a question. "You're all college students now. Some of you may have started dating. I'm going to call on 2 students to answer a question. What is love? I'll pick 1 boy and 1 girl. Let's start with a girl." I watched as the student avatars flipped rapidly on the screen, then landed on mine. Julia poked me. "Don't zone out. It's your turn." I took a deep breath and stood up. "Professor, I don't know how to answer that. I've never been in a relationship. I tend to like people for superficial reasons. Like most girls, if they're good-looking, talented, smart, that sort of thing. That's how it was for me too. But a misunderstanding let me see a side of someone I never expected. He usually seems like a glowing ice cube, but privately, he's warm, thoughtful, even a little childish. Honestly, I don't really know what to do with myself." The professor didn't seem disappointed. Instead, he smiled warmly. "Sounds like our young lady here is having a bit of romantic confusion. Any boy willing to help her out?" Before he even finished the sentence, Luke stood up. "Professor, I've had some similar feelings lately. I'd love to offer some insight." Then he turned directly to face me. "I once heard psychologist Brené Brown say that love is born in moments where both people are brave enough to be vulnerable without fear of judgment. I really agree with that. Love isn't a balance scale. You don't need to find someone who's perfectly equal to you. To me, love is simple. It's just being there when you need me." All the conversations Luke and I had over the past month flashed through my mind. Even though I thought I was talking to my mom, I poured my heart out to him, and he responded to every message. Whatever I wanted, he made it happen. I felt like I was about to lose it. If we weren't in class, I'd probably run up and hug him right now. The classroom erupted in applause. The professor waved for us to sit down. "Class rep, note down both students' names. Give them each 1 extra credit point." After class, everyone rushed off to the cafeteria. It was chaos. I wanted to find Luke right away to apologize and tell him that I'd actually added him just so I could confess. But I swam against the tide for ages and still didn't see Luke anywhere. Even by the time I got ready for bed at 11 p.m., he still hadn't messaged me. But my mom had. "Sweetie, I heard you mixed me up with your secret crush. So you two chatted for a whole month? Sigh, I really should have stayed in Japan a bit longer." I sent her a crying emoji. "You're worse than Luke. At least he doesn't mock me. And by the way, what was with that message where you called me weird and asked what I was up to?" I thought it was from Luke and felt miserable about it for days. Mom sent a voice message. "You kept pestering me every day about how hot Luke is. I got sick of it and snapped. You should be thanking your mother." Oh no. I think I might actually be used to chatting with Luke now. He never snarks at me like Mom does. When I woke up, still groggy, I saw a good morning baby message from the Golden Lotus avatar. I replied, "Morning, Mom." A voice call came through immediately. That cool magnetic voice filled my ear. "Jennifer, check who you're replying to." Ah, it's Luke. Wait, it's Luke. I shot upright in bed and hit my head. "Luke, I meant to tell you yesterday when I added you. It was to confess. I thought those messages were from you. But then I thought you hated me, so I deleted you by mistake and ended up deleting my mum instead." He chuckled softly over the phone. "So your secret crush was actually me, huh, baby? I had totally forgotten about that part. That's not the point." Luke raised his voice slightly. He sounded a little smug. "Get ready and come downstairs. I'm waiting for you." I blinked. "Wait, are you still holding a grudge? Dummy, I'm courting you." Luke cleared his throat. "Miss Jennifer, would you like to spend a beautiful day with me?" "So, this counts as a date?" "It does." I got ready, did my makeup, and went downstairs. Luke was waiting by the tree holding a cherry cake. It was the weekend, and the area outside the dorms was crowded. But in my eyes, all the people passing by blurred into the background. Only Luke and that dark red cherry cake stayed frozen in time. I was a little nervous, kept my head down as I slowly walked over to him. Before I could say a word, he looked me over. "Why didn't you wear the pink dress? Though, this one looks great too." That pink dress had been stuffed in the back of my closet. I couldn't bear to look at it because it reminded me of all the cringy sweet talk I'd sent Luke. I walked beside him awkwardly toward the school gate. Luke pulled out a note from his phone. "First, we'll hit that amusement park you mentioned, then lunch at the BBQ place you love but said was too expensive. After that, maybe a movie and hot pot for dinner. Sound good?" Honestly, it was the first time I'd heard Luke say so many words in one go. And how the heck did he remember that I thought the barbecue spot was too pricey? I felt like I was standing in front of him, completely exposed. I pouted, a bit grumpy. "You've got a good memory." Luke leaned in closer. "I remember everything you said to me, word for word." My brain started replaying all the messages I'd ever sent him. "I've got my period today. Feel awful. Gonna be fancy and wear night pads every night. That BBQ video was so tempting but too expensive, like $500 per person. I'll save up first. Wow, this K-drama male lead looks like my crush. I just want to pounce on him." I stopped in my tracks and tugged on Luke's sleeve. Can you maybe forget everything I ever said to you in those chats?" Luke took my hand. "Nope. I think it's adorable. That's the real you. Cold and distant. I couldn't have been more wrong about him. You should look in the mirror and see how shameless you are." I held my phone screen up to his face. He tilted his jaw with a smirk. "Still handsome though, baby." We got in Luke's car and headed to the amusement park. It was the weekend, and the place was packed with kids. We were the only adults in line for the Ferris wheel. Half an hour later, we were seated inside. The biggest one in the city. The whole skyline unfolding beneath us as the cabin rose. My heart lifted with it. So many awkward misunderstandings had happened between us. Yet a month ago, I never would have imagined I'd be here, on a date with Luke. As the Ferris wheel reached its peak, I shifted toward his side for a better view. His eyes kept drifting to my face, making me squirm. Out of the corner of my eye, I noticed he looked better than the cityscape outside. His hand hovered near my waist, hesitant, but didn't quite land. Careful not to fall. Then hold me steady. As soon as I said that, his hand settled on my waist. His long fingers, defined at the joints, tightened gently over my sheer skirt. The warmth traveled from his palm through every nerve in my body. Jennifer, what are you shy about now? Weren't you daydreaming about Luke with your mom, like, every day? Jennifer, you once said my lips looked kissable. Remember that? Can I say I forgot? Nope. Luke leaned in. The soft scent of jasmine hit me first, followed by the warm, moist press of lips. As the Ferris wheel began to descend, his arm around my waist pulled me close. The slight jolt made us lean into each other more. It was such a long, deep kiss, starting from the top of the Ferris wheel and landing straight into my heart. The moment we touched, the space between us melted. I was now holding his hand freely as we strolled through the park. I got a little thirsty and sent Luke to buy water. While he was gone, I sat on a bench and messaged my mum the latest update. I kissed him. He's so good at it. That gorgeous face just swooped right in. Can I sign up for round 2? Luke returned with water and, without a word, cupped the back of my head and kissed me again, this time rougher, more intense. I was stunned. I glanced down at my phone. I'd accidentally sent that message to Luke instead of my mom. Hey Luke, maybe change your profile pic? Nope, but you can change my contact name. Try something like boyfriend baby. When I didn't respond, Luke squatted down, rested his head on my lap, and stared straight at me. Say yes, baby. He blinked those thick lashes and rubbed his face against my thigh. Ugh, this shameless man. He won again. I updated his contact name just like he wanted. No one would believe me if I told them Luke was this clingy and private. At the BBQ place, he'd reserved a table in advance. If he hadn't, we would have waited an hour, at least. The pink slices of meat sizzled on the grill, releasing a rich, savory aroma. It was a 2-person booth, 1 seat on each side, but Luke insisted on squeezing in next to me. He said sitting across felt too empty, being close was more comforting. At the movie afterward, he wouldn't let go of my hand for even a second. His slender, cool fingers stroked mine, slowly prying them apart and lacing our fingers together. I was genuinely curious. I mean, I'm not bad, but Luke's way out of my league. Why was he into me? Especially when his personality flipped so drastically in private. I finally asked as we walked by the river after Hot Pot. Because you're so full of life. Like really lively. I don't know if that makes sense. My parents are super traditional, strict, no-nonsense types. We never talk about fun little stuff, let alone anything emotional. They weren't bad to me, just super demanding. Over time, I developed this reserved personality. It's not that I don't want to talk, it's more like a reflex. I'm scared of saying the wrong thing and getting shut down. I raised an eyebrow. Doesn't seem like you have that problem with me. Well, that's thanks to your home invasion-style love attack. And to me, Jennifer, you're just amazing. At every department event, you're the one who lights up the room. You've got tons of friends, and everyone wants to hang with you. Wherever you go, laughter follows. Luke pulled me into a hug by the river. Honestly, I feel like I don't deserve you. Back at the dorm, Julia and the others surrounded me. Well, did you kiss? Did you hug? So, from the moment you asked your mom for $200 to buy that dress, you were already talking to Luke? OMG, that's so awkward but so sweet. My face turned bright red, like I'd chugged fake wine. Mom was right, this golden lotus profile pic really was lucky. Luke was getting bolder by the day. Back then, I thought he was my mom and sent him like 800 messages a day. Now the tables had turned. It was Luke sending me 800 messages a day. Baby, didn't you say you were craving that lava cake yesterday? Let's go after class, okay? Baby, I don't have a badminton partner anymore. Benjamin's always off with Julia. Will you play with me? Baby, I cut my finger on a book today. It's bleeding. I need you to kiss it better. Baby, are we still going to that hot spring you mentioned? Baby, when are you taking me to meet my future mother-in-law? I felt like I was watching my old self always clinging to Luke over chat. After evening self-study, Luke and I went to play badminton and ran into Benjamin and Julia. The moment Tan saw Luke, he threw down his racket and stormed over. Didn't you just say you weren't coming? Luke quickly pushed him aside and whispered, Don't say stuff you shouldn't. Then he dragged me to the other side of the court. Baby, you see that? He ditched me for a girl. I'm all alone now. You gotta keep me company. On the last day of our sociology class, Luke insisted on sitting with me. The professor saw us next to each other and smiled so wide her eyes turned into crescents. Looks like our young lady has sorted out her love life. There were nearly 200 students in that lecture hall. How did the professor remember us so clearly? Luke must have sensed my confusion. He leaned over and whispered, Actually, the professor's my aunt. Wait, then all those times I was on my phone in class or skipped, do you think she has a bad impression of me? Luke smirked and lowered his voice. Then give me a kiss, and I'll go put in a good word for you. Ever since my mum found out I was dating, she hadn't stopped gossiping. Sweetie, listen. You have to be careful and take proper precautions. I'm not ready to be a grandma. I cut her off mid-fantasy. What are you even thinking? We haven't done anything. She sent a giggling emoji. I'm just giving you a heads up, that's all. After the things you said to me before so wild and bold, your dear mother got seriously worried. Well, can't blame you. After all, I was the one who chased your dad back in the day. That's how you ended up looking so good. Like mother, like daughter. When summer break started, I brought Luke home with me. He pulled a whole load of gifts and health supplements from the trunk, and I was stunned. It's just a regular meal. No need to go this overboard. Luke didn't say a word, just silently hauled the boxes upstairs. He had so much stuff, we had to ride the elevator up and down 3 times just to get it all. We almost ran out of space in the elevator lobby. Luke took a deep breath and knocked on the door. The moment it opened, he bowed 90 degrees. Hello, Uncle and Auntie. I'm Jennifer's boyfriend. My name is Luke. I live in Building 12 of Greentown Haitang Garden. I'm a sheep in the Chinese zodiac, born April 17th, Aries. I'm 183 centimeters tall and weigh 74 kilograms. My parents run a medical device business. I really like Jennifer. I gave him a light pat. Maybe look first before you start introducing yourself. It wasn't my parents at the door, it was our golden retriever who knows how to open doors. He furrowed his brows like a grumpy old man, looked at me, then at Luke bowing and gave 2 snorts. Luke's face turned beet red from embarrassment. My mom stood nearby, trying not to laugh. Kid, there's no need to bring all this stuff. At dinner, my parents couldn't stop staring at Luke. Their eyes practically dripped honey. My mom said, Honestly, what I liked best was the profile picture you picked, same taste as me. If it weren't for that mix-up, who knows if you two would have even gotten together. I just kept shoveling food into my mouth, pretending not to hear. On the way down, I asked Luke, if I hadn't mistaken you for my mum and just confessed directly, maybe you would have rejected me. Luke's lips curled into a small smile. Do you remember how you even got my WeChat in the first place? Julia knows Benjamin well, and he gave it to her. Luke stood at the bottom of the steps and wrapped his arms around me. With a punk like Tan, he wouldn't have dared give out my WeChat without my permission.